Welcome to the History AI podcast, where the past comes alive with facts, anecdotes, and a dash of humor. Here are your hosts, Chuck and Marco.
Welcome to the History AI podcast. I'm Chuck.
And I'm Marco. Today, we're diving deep into a pivotal moment in early American military history, the Battle of Derna.
The first major land battle the United States fought overseas. There's so much to unpack here.
Absolutely, Chuck. But before we jump into the heat of the battle, remember, if you enjoy our dives into history, rate us 5 stars on your podcast platform. Your support helps us reach more history buffs and continue growing. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube and/or on your podcast platform and share.
Let's turn back the clock to the early 1800s. The world stage was quite a tumultuous place, with the Napoleonic Wars reshaping Europe.
And across the Atlantic, the United States, still in its infancy as a nation, was trying to establish itself as a maritime power. But there was a significant threat looming over its ambitions: piracy.
Particularly from the Barbary states along the North African coast, including Tripoli. Now, Tripoli was not just any pirate haven, it was a chessboard of political intrigue and brutal power plays.
That's right, Chuck. The Pasha of Tripoli, Yusuf Karamanli, seized power in a violent coup, where he shockingly murdered his older brother in front of their own mother. It's the stuff of Shakespearean drama.
Absolutely, Marco. And this is where the United States enters the picture. The U.S. had a vested interest in protecting its trade routes from Barbary pirates. But they also saw a strategic opportunity in the turmoil of Tripoli.
They aimed to dethrone the ruthless Yusuf Karamanli and replace him with his exiled brother, Hamit Karamanli, who was seen as more favorable to American interests.
This was a bold move. It wasn't just about stopping piracy, it was about influencing the balance of power in the Mediterranean. And the Battle of Derna was the cornerstone of this strategy.
A high-stakes Game of Thrones, with the United States making a daring move on the global chessboard.
And that sets the stage for the incredible story of the Battle of Derna, a defining moment in U.S. military history and a turning point in its foreign policy. The Battle of Derna, pivotal to the Tripoli-Tan War, was a remarkable campaign. It's April 1805, and Lieutenant William Eaton, an appointed U.S. agent to the Barbary states, has concocted a daring plan.
Eaton's plan was audacious, to say the least. He assembled an unlikely coalition, including 8 U.S. Marines led by Lieutenant Presley O'Bannon, and around 400 mercenaries, Greeks, Arabs, and Berbers.
They embarked on what can only be described as an epic journey, trekking 500 miles across the Libyan desert. Imagine the logistical nightmare, Marco.
Absolutely, Chuck. And as they neared Derna, Eaton sent a message to the governor, demanding surrender. The response was a flat refusal.
The stage was set for a confrontation. On April 27, 1805, Eaton and his forces approached Derna. Their plan? A 3-pronged attack. Marines and mercenaries would launch a frontal assault, while their allies, including local Bedouins, would attack the city's flanks.
And let's not forget the naval support. The U.S. Navy's role was crucial. They bombarded the city from the sea, providing critical support to the ground forces.
The battle raged for hours. The defenders, caught off guard by the multifaceted attack, struggled to maintain their positions. Eaton's forces, despite being outnumbered, were relentless.
It was a fierce fight, but the turning point came when the U.S. Marines, including O'Bannon and his men, heroically charged the enemy artillery, capturing a significant gun position.
This move was a game-changer. The defenders, seeing their artillery captured, started to lose their resolve. By the end of the day, Eaton's forces had taken control of Derna, a monumental victory.
It was the first time the U.S. flag was raised in victory on foreign soil, a momentous event that would be echoed in the halls of history.
The Battle of Derna not only highlighted the bravery and strategic prowess of the U.S. Marines and their allies, but also marked a significant turning point in the Tripoli-Tan War. The Battle of Derna wasn't just a showcase of military strategy, but also of remarkable heroism. Let's talk about the key figures and tactics that turned the tide in this battle.
First up, Lieutenant Presley O'Bannon. This man is a legend in Marine Corps history. His leadership and courage, particularly in leading the charge to capture the enemy artillery, were pivotal.
Indeed, O'Bannon's heroics are a testament to the bravery of the U.S. Marines. And let's not forget William Eaton. His leadership and audacious plan to march across the desert and attack Derna were nothing short of extraordinary.
Their strategy was a blend of traditional and innovative tactics. They effectively combined a frontal assault with flanking maneuvers, utilizing their diverse coalition of forces.
Absolutely, Marco. And the naval bombardment from the USS Argus, Nautilus, and Hornet provided crucial support, cutting off the city's resupply and bombarding enemy positions.
But every battle comes at a cost. The casualties bear witness to the battle's intensity. The US-led coalition suffered around 14 killed and 25 wounded.
On the other side, the defenders of Derna suffered heavier losses. Estimates suggest approximately 100 killed and many more wounded.
These numbers, while sobering, underscore the ferocity of the battle and the sacrifices made. The success at Derna, bought with these lives, significantly boosted the morale and strategic position of the United States in the conflict.
This battle also demonstrated the effectiveness of combined arms tactics, which would become a staple in modern warfare. The use of naval forces in tandem with ground assaults was a significant evolution in military strategy at the time. The impact and legacy of the Battle of Derna are far-reaching, both in terms of military history and the shaping of American foreign policy. Let's unpack this.
First off, the victory at Derna was a significant morale booster for the United States. It was a clear message that the young nation could project its power beyond its borders and succeed.
Absolutely, Marco. The battle also had profound implications for U.S. naval and marine strategy. It was a demonstration of how effective a small, well-led force could be when combined with naval power.
And let's not forget the political fallout. The victory at Derna pressured Yusuf Karamanli into negotiating peace, leading to the Treaty of Tripoli in 1805. This treaty significantly reduced the tributes paid by the U.S. to the Barbary states.
On a broader scale, the Battle of Derna helped establish the U.S. Navy and Marines as credible and capable forces. It was a major step in the U.S. emerging as a global maritime power.
The legacy of Derna also extends into the cultural realm. The phrase "to the shores of Tripoli" in the Marine Corps hymn immortalizes the battle, making it a permanent part of Marine Corps tradition.
And in terms of international relations, it set a precedent for U.S. involvement in foreign conflicts. It was an early example of the U.S. acting to protect its interests abroad, which would become a recurring theme in its foreign policy.
The battle also demonstrated the power of coalition warfare. Eaton's ability to unify a diverse group of mercenaries, Marines, and local forces is a striking example of early American diplomatic and military capability.
In the grand scheme, the Battle of Derna highlighted the growing pains of a young nation learning to navigate the complexities of international politics and warfare.
And the casualties and sacrifices made in the battle remind us of the human cost of these conflicts, shaping the narrative of American military history and its ethos.
As we come to the end of today's episode on the Battle of Derna, it's clear that this wasn't just a battle, it was a defining moment in U.S. history. The implications of this victory extended far beyond the battlefield.
That's right, Chuck. The Battle of Derna showcased the emerging strategic and military capabilities of the United States. It was a testament to the power of leadership, strategy, and the resilience of a diverse fighting force.
This battle also carved out a place for the United States on the international stage. It demonstrated that the U.S. was willing and able to protect its interests abroad, even in distant lands.
And the legacy of Derna lives on in the Marine Corps and in American military doctrine. The tactics and coalition building we see today have roots in this early 19th century battle.
It's a story of courage, determination, and the complexities of early American foreign policy. The Battle of Derna is a crucial chapter in the narrative of American military history and its evolution.
But before we sign off, we've got some exciting news for all our listeners. The History AI podcast merchandise is now available. Show your love for history with our exclusive range of apparel and accessories.
Whether you're a history buff or just love a good story, our merchandise is a great way to be part of the History AI podcast community. Find the link in our show notes and grab your gear today.
And as always, we're grateful for your support. If you've enjoyed our dive into the Battle of Derna, please rate us 5 stars on your podcast platform. It really helps us reach more history enthusiasts like you.
Don't forget to subscribe and share our podcast. Your support helps us continue growing and bringing more fascinating historical tales to your ears.
And if there's a historical event or figure you're curious about, let us know on social media. We love your suggestions and might just cover it in a future episode.
Thanks for joining us on the History AI podcast. I'm Chuck.
And I'm Marco. Until next time, keep exploring the depths of history.
Step into the thrilling world of sports betting with The Starting Line, an introduction to sports betting. Whether you're a beginner or simply curious, this comprehensive guide takes you from the basics to the advanced. Learn to decode odds, develop winning strategies, and bet responsibly. Get your copy now and transform every game into an adventure. The Starting Line is your first step towards mastering the art of sports betting. Available on Amazon.